Hello, this is my presentation on brain organoids for the Socioscientific Milestone Project. So, brain organoids are self-organized tissues deriving from human stem cells that resemble the human brain in vitro, so the developing human brain. They are used for research into neurological diseases, disorders, and phenomenon. These organoids have recently raised many questions and ethical concerns regarding the potential consciousness of these organoids and their sensory receptiveness and what that means in a moral and ethical standard. So, what are these brain organoids? Well, they're composed of human pluripotent stem cells, or HPSCs. These stem cells are really can become any sort of cell type. They're present in the embryonic stage of development, so they have potentiality to form all sorts of different cell types. And in this case, they form neurological, like neurons and cells used to develop in the brain. What makes these organoids unique is that they possess something called cytoarchitecture, which is the ability to form pathways and layers and resemble the developing brain in a different way as other models that scientists have experimented with. And what makes the cytoarchitecture even more new and advanced is the brain organoid's ability to self-organize the structure, and they're able to self-organize and not just become random as other models have been used in the past, but they do this while maintaining developmental trajectory. Now, perspective one is the scientist. So the scientist obviously is focusing on the biomedical and biological advancements of brain organoids. They present a unique opportunity to research neurological disease, phenomenon, and disorders. And they differ in biomedical capabilities from previous and animal models. So these organoids can self-assemble not only in two-dimensional cultures, but also in tissue-like structures and developmental projections, meaning they don't just sit on a chip, such as organs on a chip, if you're familiar with that, or they don't just randomly organize on top of each other with no reason. They're showing capabilities of organization and communication with each other. Brain organoid research is incredibly important to neurological advancement and have the potentiality to have a lot of humanitarian benefits. This research is important for the future of our understanding neuro-related diseases, disorders, and phenomena. This is the evidence that I have chosen that supports the scientific perspective of this research. Okay, so perspective two is the ethicist. Ethical concern has arisen as of recent with the potential concerns of consciousness or the ability to have pain receptiveness. Bioethicists are often in favor of organoid research. They just want it to be highly regulated and have stipulations regarding the research in order to protect potential conscious beings. So proving existence is an age-old philosophical question, but there are signs that scientists look to that present features of awareness. So EEGs are signals that organoids have recently emitted, and basically EEG is the collective firings of neurons communicating with each other. So they're not just a single neuron firing, it's the collective communication between all sorts of neurons interacting with each other, which is seen as a sign of potential consciousness within beings. Perspective two continued. The concern of bioethicists and philosophers is that as the technology advances, these organoids may form more complex communication, they may grow larger, they may form distinctive brain regions, develop sensory input, and these are all signs of awareness, which means signs that these organoids need to be protected. So there's reasons why we have laws in place, and there's reasons why this organoid research in and of itself is important, and that's because we can't just experiment on people. That would be highly unethical and immoral. And as these organoids start to show receptiveness and potential consciousness, it raises the question if we should be protecting them and having laws just as we do on human experimentation and the growing modern concept of animal experimentation, how we protect these living beings and organisms. So the main argument is that there should be regulations in place to protect organoid research. Ethicists are not claiming, well, most are not claiming that we should stop this research at all because ethically and morally it has a bunch of humanitarian benefits. They're just arguing that there needs to be a regulation in place, stipulations in place with the research as technology advances and as these organoids get closer to potentially reaching consciousness or pain receptiveness. And this is the perspective or the evidence that I chose for perspective two. It kind of solidifies all of what I just stated. Okay, so alternative viewpoints, which is the public opinion of these brain organoids. Contrary to expert assumption and opinion, the public is actually quite in favor for organoid research, which I found very interesting, as I personally, when I first heard about this, was a little hesitant towards it because I didn't know if we should be experimenting on something that can possibly form consciousness. I was very intrigued by the idea that we could form a receptive conscious being in a lab. It kind of sounds like something out of a sci-fi novel, but we are advancing. Our technology is advancing and it's coming to that point. So public opinion is actually in favor of it, mainly because of the benefits, the biomedical benefits, and the ethical benefits of this research. But I believe the public is still in favor, like the ethicists, with having just regulations around this research in case potential consciousness does occur. So, social impacts. The potentiality of brain organoids developing consciousness, it raises questions regarding the protection of conscious experimental organisms, philosophical questions regarding what truly makes someone something conscious, as opposed to just being receptive to things, and other socioscientific questions. There's a few current policies in place that are set by institutions that are researching these organoids, such as the International Society for Stem Cell Research, National Academics of Sciences, Engineering and Medicine, and other bioethical associations. Um, these policies are focusing on chimera research, so animal and human integration, just oversight of the overall experimentation, standardization, and moral guidelines, and also donor consent who are consenting to give off stem cells. So this is the bibliography. And yeah, that's the end of this research. It's a very interesting topic that whenever I saw that we had this milestone project I knew I wanted to do, I actually got the idea off of an Instagram video I saw where a brain organoid was taught how to play a Doom, a video game, and people in the comments were very concerned because the game is supposedly quite scary and fear-mongering, and they were wondering if that scientist had created a conscious object, being, whatever it may be, and its first introduction into the world was to play something terrifying, and how it's going to live in this perpetual state of something very scary, and if that was ethical, and if we should, as humans, be able to have the power over organisms like this and be able to choose what they feel and how they interact with the world around them. And if they're stuck in that scary video game bubble, or if we are able to protect them and provide guidelines and all the sorts of things. So, yeah, that's my presentation.